Alright guys, so in this video we're going to be learning how to recreate this. So in this video in this design rather, I basically did not use just Pixellab to create this awesome design. I made use of Pixellab, I made use of PSCC, this is Photoshop for phone, and Adobe Lightroom for edit. So without taking much of our time, let us go straight into it. Alright, before we continue, don't forget to like and subscribe the video and also turn on your notification button to get more videos or be notified when I upload more videos. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is to create my grid because that's the first thing I used to do. So first off, I'm going to set the grid to, this should be 95, positioning 95. So to do that, to see what I just did here, let me just show you. You use this icon here, this one here. That's where to set the grid precisely. So I'll make that 95 and I select the other one and I make it also 95. Take this other one too and make this one 5. Since it's at the beginning of it, I'll make this 5. Okay, it's not really 5 with the original design. The original design is not about 5. Let's say 10. Okay, I think 10 is too much. So let's just make, for this design purpose, okay, let's see what size was that. That's 6. Okay, 6. So for this other one, I'm going to just make it here, put it here. Let's see, that's 5. So I think I made a mistake in the original design. So I'm just going to keep it here as 5 here. And the remaining grids, I'm going to delete them. Alright, so now we have our grid set. So the first thing to do in this design was to create the background. So the background is normal, it's basically white. Again, so what I did was I created a square, then in the square I go to the gradient, and in the gradient style just press the plus icon here and choose this circular kind of gradient, the circle radius gradient. Alright, so then for the outer color, you're going to make it completely transparent like this, and for this one you're going to make it white. Get just white like this, and maybe a little bit transparent, just a little bit transparent. You're going to shift this one up here just like this. So what is the goal of this particular effect? Is a kind of blend mode. I learned this from Iniski design. So it's a kind of blend mode for your design. So if you want to blend backgrounds, this is a good way for you. So what do you do now? So when you're done with creating that shape, let me just change the background so you see what I'm doing. So it's going to look like this. Okay, I'm going to change the background back, but just for learning's sake, it's going to be like this. Then go over to texture here, then go to your gallery and import an image. So I had a background image I used that time. Oh god, I hope I know where it is now. Let me see, it's a floor background image. Let me check my Pinterest if I downloaded it here. If it's here, okay, yeah, this is it here. So it's a floor. So I'm just going to make it square. So you see, this is the effect to create. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my background now, make the color white as it was before. So this is what it would give you. So now this, if you check in the main design, that's the first thing I did, creating something like that for the background, just like this. Alright, so design is about creativity. Just try to do something creative. So I'm going to also fade this out a little bit. I'm going to reduce the opacity a little bit. I don't want it to be too distracting. It's just a concept. So the opacity is going to be at 50. I'm going to set this like this because when you're going to edit it, your editing software is going to bring out every other hidden detail. So we don't want to make it so obvious here. So the next thing to do now from the flyer is to get our crucifix, not crucifix rather, the crown of thorns, because it's Easter worship. So I'm going to just go over to my gallery again, not my drive. Go over to my gallery again and get the crown of thorns. So this is it here. So the original image for the crown of thorns, I think it had a shadow. Yes, because of this. If you look very well down here, the shadow is cut out. You get, from where I downloaded it from, the shadow is cut out, so I'm going to rotate it now. So that was how I improvised. Since the shadow was going to disturb me, I had to create something different with it. So now let me check for the size of the previous one, so that I will not be making too much mistake. Alright, so I think this is the size. Let's see. Yeah, slightly. Okay, that's the size. It's just adjustment. Okay, so now we're done with that. We can lock this now. So as you see, we've solved the problem of the shadow effect that was disturbing. So the next thing to do now is to add up our guest ministers in the flyer. So this design was created due to a graphic design challenge we were doing in CDC by ECT. So and this was mine, and I found out that many people liked it, so I had to show or teach us how I created it. So okay, I think it's not here. It's supposed to be in photo room because I've taken out the background. So the first minister is this man here. Okay, so I'm going to put it here like this. Alright, so let's see again. Okay, I brought him down a little bit here because of this is cut out shoulder from the image. So like this. Alright, so let's see other ones now. Let's try to measure it so it can fit the same way. Okay, it's a little bit bigger. Alright, so a little bit small now. Alright, so I think this size is okay. Wow, I didn't even notice that I did not edit it well from the original design. Okay, so we have him perfectly fit now. Now we're going to add other ministers. Who else? Theophilus Sunday. So I'm going to quickly go over to my gallery again and maybe speed this up. Okay, so we have that done. So the next thing to do is to create the kind of like a fade. So to create that, I'm going to just go over to shapes and go to gradient style and pick a gradient like this. For the top color, I'm going to completely make it transparent, Then for the base one, I'm going to go over here and pick the color from this one, so we'll have exact color. So the color code is 500221. Let me show you. So here's the color code here. You get, so you could just copy that to have exactly the same thing. Alright, so we have that now. I'm going to just shift it like this and expand it this way. Yep, good. So we have it done like this, and let me just do this like this. Alright, good. So the next thing to do now is we'll leave this one here. We're going to lock every other thing. So the next thing to do now is just basically to add Easter worship and every other write-up. So I'm going to hide this guy here and go over to my font. Okay, I think this is a little bit too much here. I'm going to bring it down. This fade. Okay, it's okay, good. So I'm going to write the Easter. Since it's the emphasis here, I'm going to just write EASTER. Okay, I think I use small letter. EASTER. Alright, so the name of the font is a brush font I found out, and I think the name of the font is where is it? Sorry, I think the name of the font is brush. Okay, brush shots bold. So I think this is the font I used here. So I chose this font because it felt like blood writing, like the paints from blood. So let me just look at this. Yes, it's the font. So it felt like the painting or the effect you get when you use blood to write. So since it's a celebration of the resurrection of Christ, so I thought of using a font like that to kind of illustrate the death. So I'm going to shift this back to be right beneath the crown of thorns, just to create that effect that it's over it. So I'm going to go over here now, change the color. I'm going to pick the color used in the original design here, which is this brown. This brown here. Then so if you notice in the original design, there is how the image was. There is how it tilted. You get. So I'm going to show you basically how you can create that effect now. So to create the effect is very simple. I think this Easter text is a little big. So I'm going to reduce the size to, let's say, 130. Alright. Okay, good. So I'm going to, okay, let me check if this, okay, good. I'm going to just try to centralize this inside the space here. So Easter worship. So now it remains Easter worship and the year. So I'm going to just create another text now, right? Worship, WRSHIP. Then the year was let me check it again. MMXXIII. Okay, good. So we're going to do that right now. Easter worship MMXXIII. Good. So we have our word written down. So we're going to select the font. I think I use Montserrat. So I use Montserrat bold black, Montserrat black to do it. So I'm going to increase the size of it here. Okay, I'm about to find out something. I think in the original design I made these two separate texts in order to create hierarchy. Let's see. Let's see. Let me see. Okay, they are not the same text, so we're going to do away with the MX. I just write worship. Worship is going to be on its own. Let's make it 60 or 65. Then we're going to duplicate it and write the year. It's worship, Easter worship 2023. So I just use Roman numerals just to take us back to the year Christ was crucified, or those like the kind of things that were common then. It was the Roman Empire then, so that's why I use this. So I'm going to send all of this now behind this guy here, so everything is going to have that effect. So I'm going to now change the color of MX, the date. To change the color of the date here, I'm just going to pick the one I use in the design. This orange color. Yeah, I picked it from the cross. From the, why am I calling it cross? I picked it from the crown of thorns guy. So I'm going to see the exact text I use here. Okay, I think it's the same text, the same color, this one here. Alright, so now it's time to do the effect. So let me see if there's any other write-up that should be among this. So already the effect is already making sense like this. So you could leave it like this, but to spice it up I have to do what I did there. So yeah, that's all. So to do the effect now, you're going to mark all of this. So how do you mark multiple elements in Pixellab? Just go here, go to this point here, down here. Then when you click it, you would see an option to check things. So you check all of them and you would press this other guy here. This one here is for the merging. So we're going to merge it like this, boom, and it will become one. It will become one image. So we're going to send this also back to the behind the cross and hide this other guy so we can do our effect now. So we have this here like this. So what we're going to go now to achieve that effect is go to perspective and try to raise it up like this, just a little bit. This way all your texts are going to give the perspective in the same manner. Alright, so I think we have that now. So that is how I created that part of it. Let me see the main design if it's the same. Okay, I think the main design is a little bit smaller. I'm going to reduce this guy to, let's make him 95. Okay, I'm going to centralize in this, bring it down a little bit. This bit here, just to meet with the man. Okay, then I'm going to do the same to this guy here. I'm going to reduce the size also, like this and like this. So we're going to shift it this way and bring it down a little bit. Alright, so we have that done. Let's see. It's still a little bit different though, but the difference are not much. It's just in the size as well. Alright, so now the next thing to do is to, let's just increase this a little bit. So the next thing to do now is to write the other information of the design, and you're good to go to finally edit. So the information of the designs, let's just see, how did we do it there? It was the imagine generation, and I wrote just TEG. I repeated this stuff I did here. So I wrote TEG like this, TEG, just to represent the imagine generation. I used the Montserrat font, the same Montserrat font here. Then I kind of like gave it a color, a white color. Then I created a box like this. I gave the box a little size like this, and made it have the same color like that. Let's just see, reduce it a little bit. So I did something like this. I just created the logo by myself using perspective because it was a challenge and I had to just do something unique too. So when we're done with that, and let me just create a little bit. I use the same method I used here. Merge the two, not that. I merged the two of them, and I created a perspective, stuff like that. So I'm just going to go back here and quickly do that there. I think I did something like this. Let me zoom it in. I think I did something like this. Just so it looks not normal. Oops. Let me lock this guy. Just so it looks not normal, I just had to do something like this. So it won't be exact now, but I'm just trying for the tutorial sake. I'm going to increase this one now a little bit to like 5. Bring it down a little bit like this. Then I wrote the name of the church, the Imagine Generation. Alright, good. So once you're done with Pixellab, what you need to do now is to go over to Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop Touch, and press the plus icon and go to your library and pick up your design. The design was made from Pixellab, so I'm going to do just that. here's the design, pick it up, then wait for it to load. When it's done loading, you're just going to add this vent flare here, and I'm going to go over to the lens flare now. So this is the lens flare here. Now there's a mistake that designers used to do sometimes. They don't know how to blend this guy here. So they try to use it on Pixellab, and most of the time Pixellab will not give you the results you want. So if you use this linear dodge, it has this particular effect, but it does not work in every situation. You get, if you use screen, it's looking better. This one works in works in the situation. Also, there's also a light. So these are the major blend modes I use. So for this design, I made use of the what's the name? The screen blend mode. So I just put it somewhere like this behind the ministers. Make a copy of it, duplicate it, put it up somewhere in the cross side here. This one should be a little bit bigger, somewhere like this, just to make it more like dramatic. So it does not necessarily have to be on top of it. So you could just put it somewhere close, so to give that light effect. So I'm going to duplicate this one again, and I'll put it close to where the lady is. So as you can see, I just made use of what effect is that again? Just the screen blend mode. You get, and once you're done, you're good or ready to go. You just have to edit it finally in Photoshop, or no, not Photoshop. You just have to finally edit it in Lightroom, and you're good to go. Alright guys, so that's it for now. See you in the next video.